Important to analyze the move on Lupin, and my colleague Pankaj Podar is here to do just that. Take us to the Lupin story, Pankaj.
Right. So, if we look at Tanveer Lupin, Nagpur is one of the units which is an upcoming unit, and in the next 12 months, this facility would go ahead and become, the largest unit that they have once it starts operation. ET now is the first company to visit Nagpur facility and get you shots from these particular plant. Now, if we talk about the salient feature as far as these plants are concerned, so it will firstly be the largest facility once the commencement happened. It has both OSD, which is oral solid dosage, that's the normal capsule or the tablet that you see, as well as injectable. In terms of Lupin, why does it matter? Till date, the company has invested 753 crores. Once the plant starts, right now they don't have 1400 employees, but once the plant starts, full commercialization, which is expected to happen from now till the next 3 years, it will have about 1400 plant, and the plant will have both injectable as well as solid oral drug when we talk about the entire investment. Till now, 4 inspection US FDA has happened in the last 4 years, 0 observation. Company has filing of about 42 odd products and at about 800 million tablets per day, or about 200 units in the second unit per minute as far as direct injectable are concerned. So the capacity of the plant by any means will not be small. Once they start filing, they start getting approval from this plant, it will be a very, very important one. Now, in terms of Lupin, why this is important? Now, this will be the largest plant post-commercial start. Currently, their largest plants are from Goa and Indore, but if you look at this plant, it's much bigger than them. The company has equipped the latest equipments over here, and one of the key features is that there is an error-free documentation that you get over there. Now, this something is slightly unique when you look at some of the other space. Most of the problems from US FDA in the past has happened because of documentation. And that's why this plant is particularly important. It's a big plant. Commercial start is expected in April 2019. That's less than about 8 months from now.
All right. Thanks very much, Pankaj, for taking us through that story. In fact, Lupin has been facing US FDA issues with Goa and Indore units for a while. We at ED Now spoke to Dr. Rajiv Desai, Executive VP Corporate Quality at Lupin, from the Nagpur facility about how Lupin is trying to resolve and eliminate US FDA risks going ahead by automation. Here's an exclusive.
We are right here at the Lupin's Nagpur facility, which is by far one of their largest and the new facility with various equipments that they have. Recently, they have completed a US FDA inspection with 0 observation, and we have none other than Rajiv Desai now joining us, who is EVP at Corporate Quality Assurance at Lupin. So, can you just first start by talking about this plant? It's a new plant that you've done. It's got 4 inspection of US FDA, and all have had no Form 483s.
So this is a new plant for Lupin. It's one of the largest plant that we started manufacturing now. So it's for the oral solid dose. Last month we had a US FDA inspection, which was the 4th in line. All the 4 inspections were without any observations. Of course, the first 3 were for the product approvals, and then the 4th one was for the GMP inspection. The preparation was good. The people were having the good mindset, and that's the reason why we could get through. Of course, we are aware of what's the requirement for FDA, what's the expectations. So I think that was the key for the successful inspections over here.
Right. When we just go into this plant, when we look at the area, it's a very IT enabled plant. It's a very new technology plant. How does that help in better quality assurance?
See, one is that historically all the plants that we had, or the pharma industry, they were always manual and manual intensive. So when we go for large scale operations and also for complex projects, it's important that we move out from the manual operations to automated facilities. Now, this definitely will require a lot of automation in the facilities, and that's the reason why we went for automation. And we'll go for that. So there are a couple of things that we are planning to have here. One is on the electronic batch records, some automation in the manufacturing, in the QC lab, where there's a lot of repeated work which is done. So if you could try and bring the automation over there, I think the errors could be reduced.
Right. Can you talk about the Goa facility that you have, Indore's Unit 2 facility that you have, which is currently under warning letter? So, what's the update on that? When are you re-inviting US FDA? What's the next process for these plants?
See, that was in the month of November last year, and after that we have got a lot of updates given to FDA, and the last update went a couple of days back. So we are planning to send the final update in a couple of days' time. So by that we'll be finishing all the commitments that we have for both the sites. We are confident that what we committed as a first response, we have completed that. We've got some of the best consultants with us working on this project, and they've also given the confidence that what we committed, what they have done is already completed. And after that, it's FDA to come and see. And that's where we hope that when they come here, they will be able to see the completion, also the compliance that is expected out of them.
Right. Now, when we look at both the warning letters, they were similar in the nature. In fact, I think there were one for both of them. So what is the out of specification problem? Can you tell us, and why is it so difficult to resolve it? Is it difficult to get to the root cause? Is it difficult to then change the process? What essentially is the learning from that entire process?
See, when you make a product in the pharma industry, okay, there are two things which can happen. One is a product can be of not too good quality, or the analysis can go wrong. Most of the times the analysis, when it goes wrong, even the product is not bad, it's very difficult for us to justify what was the reason for the failure. And that's where the expectation is that you should find a reason for the failure or why it went wrong. Many times it so happens that there's a process which says that you repeat the analysis again and see if it is passing, and most of the times it is passing. So we would release a batch, but we'll miss out the fact that you should do an investigation of the first failure. And that was a point that FDA wanted to highlight, and this has been a point of their concern. Going forward, we have changed our procedures. We try to be very, very strict in terms of our handling of investigations, and in case we don't find any reason for failure, we are very ruthless in rejecting the batch also now, and that is something that has happened. And as we go forward, we'll be doing the same thing. So that applies to all the sites.
So you've got 2 warning letters. There was some learning with that. How are you implementing it across various plants that you have? Is that under process? Is that something which you're actively considering?
See, as a corporate quality, we have several SOPs which are common across all the sites. So if there is a procedure which is applied to Goa, it applies to all the sites of Lupin. So that's a corporate procedure. So if you've got a strict SOP now on the investigations, it applies to all the sites, and that's where the whole process will go through.
Right. So, let's just talk about Indian pharma, the FDA problems that has been faced. Last 10 years have been very difficult for most of the companies. But, it's always a cycle when we talk about the Indian pharma space. It's always, something which they change, something which they expect more, and then the Indian pharma adjusts. Do you think currently we are in that phase where Indian pharma has adjusted to new FDA laws?
It is. I mean, see, whenever there are some mistakes which are found, there's always a scope of improvement. And Indian pharma, if you see, nobody has resisted that. So everybody's come out with a positive attitude, and we are learning and also trying to implement that. And as you see the current observations and also the inspections happening, there's a lot of improvement in that. So FDA has also seen an improvement in the way we operate our facilities, the procedures that we follow. And at the same time, you'll find a lot of improvements. We haven't backed out on or said any negative about the observations and the inspections which happened recently. So that's been a good transition. And of course, there have been some strict inspection in the recent past, but that should be a learning phase for us. And Indian pharma company will come out of that.
Right. Just the last word, like 15 years back when you were to open any P&L or any balance sheet of any pharma company, you would say if they are investing into R&D, it's a good company, it will get dividends going ahead later. You think going ahead, quality assurance plus R&D, so investing more into plant, investing more into technology, will be a differentiator for a big company like Lupin and some of the others?
Absolutely. So R&D was initially for bringing out new technologies, new methodologies of manufacturing, but that's not the end of it. We also need technologies which can make the same product the same consistently. So consistency is important. Now, how do you bring consistency? You want to make sure that there's a lot of new technology in the manufacturing also, automation, software which can enable some of the manual operations also. So investing in manufacturing, investing in quality systems, apart from R&D, is a good proposition, and Lupin is into that.